As the NBA playoffs roll on and continue to be mid, a true basketball savant knows that the WNBA season also started last week, and there is no shortage of headlines surrounding the women's game. Here to keep us locked in, one of the greats, the WNBA host for Buckets, the YouTube show. She's got her own podcast called Spinsters, which she is the co-host. She is also the host of the Jordan Brand series. Take it from LA, daggone it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Jordan Ligons. Welcome to Takeline, Jordan.
Thank you so much. Great intro. I'm so
Come
happy
on, man.
to be here.
I practiced. I was in my bathroom mirror for 2 hours.
I appreciate it.
He was sending me tapes.
I did.
I'm honored.
Voice memo.
You crushed that,
Thanks,
Jamel.
bros. Appreciate y'all, man. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm so happy to talk about the W. It's been so fun so far. I hope you would all agree.
Oh, yeah.
Has been great. I've been having a blast. As a Mystics fan, you
Yeah.
already know I'm
Happy.
loving it more than McDonald's. But, some tough stuff going on. Brittney Griner, we finally saw a picture of her. It was the first time in 3 months on Friday. Had a court appearance in Russia. Looks bleak.
It does.
I don't know. Your initial thoughts. I mean, it's been 90 days.
It has been 90 days. I think that's just alarming. Seeing that picture just broke my heart. I think you just can't help but feel for her. And we know Brittney Griner as this bubbly, bright person. She's always smiling. She's always cracking jokes on the court. So to see her with a hoodie on, head down, and handcuffs, it just doesn't sit right with my soul. It's just not right. And the story and her case is, evolving as we speak, I feel like. But the latest that I read was, they're thinking of a trade, a trade with a Russian prisoner here in the U.S. for her. Other experts are saying that's not a good idea because then this could just be a trend that Russia will continue to capture Americans and be wanting to trade. So I don't know how this is in our basketball talks. This is not prepped for a WNBA reporter to be prepped on foreign affairs. This is wild.
I'm trying every little piece of this. I'm reading about, trying to understand, and this trade. And to me, it's because a lot of people are coming out and saying hey, if this was LeBron James, if this was another male athlete, this would be this story would have been done months ago. And to me, it represents how we treat black women, how we treat women's sports, how it's representing a lot of issues. How do you see this ending? What needs to change? And again, it's tough. We want to talk basketball, but I'm almost asking you, how do we fix the world? And for what we thought was common sense, but over the last few years, it's people don't have common sense anymore, and this is just all fucked up.
It really is. And I love that you said that, CJ, because the biggest thing that is so troubling about all of this is we're asking America to protect a black queer woman when she is overseas, when we don't feel protected here. That's such a hard thing to tackle. There's layers to it of race and gender, but there's also layers of, okay, if she was actually getting paid what she's worth, there's no need for her to be in Russia in the first place. A lot of people don't understand. She was there to get the bag. She was playing overseas because they actually pay her. So she had to be there. She wasn't just there on vacation. She was working. So there's layers to that. And then how I see this ending, I just want her to be home. She missed her wife's graduation. Her wife is now a lawyer, which is so ironic. And she's missing huge parts of her life because she is wrongfully detained over there. And all we can do is, right now, it feels very helpless. I don't know what I could be doing. I don't know if I should be calling someone. I don't know if there is anything that we can do. It seems like it is only the White House that can make that decision and bring her home. And that's just a sucky feeling. Like, I wish there was like a point of action. Here are all the things that we can do as fans to bring Brittney home. But for right now, we have her initials on the basketball court. Like, we have buttons. We are sending good vibes. Sometimes it just feels like that's not enough, but our hands are tied. I don't know what we can do. And that's the frustrating part.
Anything short of being LL Cool J in NCIS Los Angeles feels, I just don't know neither. I mean, and when they released the first guy, a U.S. Marine, Trevor Reed, I had no idea he was in Russia for 3 years. It really put things into a crazy perspective. And they're making it seem like she could be home soon, relatively. And that, who knows what that even looks like? A month, couple months. I say make the trade. Who cares if this guy's an arms dealer? So they're saying they want to trade for this guy. What's his name? Victor Bout.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. Let him go over there. As long as we're not giving him any more money, take your stupid ass home.
Bring Brittney
back.
Yeah.
End of story.
End of story. Exactly.
Well, and connecting this back to basketball, it does affect, she was over there, like you said, because, a WNBA player needs to take on almost several jobs. And there's always a fight to get more people to watch the WNBA, right? And now there's a person detained, and like when you bring them over, and it gets down to like paying these players, and the WNBA itself isn't doing their own players any favors.
Right.
Do you think this situation is going to have an effect on how the league takes care of its players?
I would hope so. I really hope so. I think it is shining a not good light on the WNBA, if you ask me, because once people start digging and people who aren't fans of the game are asking those questions, like, wait, why is she over there? Wait, she's making how much here and how much over there? Like, once those questions are starting to get beyond WNBA circles, it's not looking good for the WNBA. And to me, I'm worried about the players who, Russia's like, hey, I do have a shiny contract, come play over here. And they're like, I don't know if I want to go play overseas anymore. Like, I'm scared. That has to be an effect of all of this as well.
And stop it with the commercial flights while we're at it. I mean, it's crazy. It's like every team's got a star with COVID right now because they're flying commercial. That's its own separate thing. Listen to what
you just said. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I was thinking, it's 25 years, right? It's been 25 years. And I was thinking about the NBA at 25 years. NBA at 25 is like what? Early 70s. No one cared, but there also were no televisions. Like half the people in America had a TV at this point in the NBA's history. And the NBA's biggest issue was that the ABA was more fun and they could fight and be on drugs. The WNBA's biggest issue is just like straight up disrespect and like wage gaps. It's like crazy. I don't know what to make of it, but I could see this affecting the international game in a way where maybe even like women who wouldn't come to America are coming here to get out of the way of some international incidents. Maybe we get some higher quality. Maybe this forces the league to add some more teams.
Yeah, I was like, we got to have some spots for them if they come, because then it's so limited spots right now, and that's all the rage of, you see really high caliber players getting waived. Crystal Dangerfield sticks out because she was Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, and she gets waived. That's like if Ja got waived this season. Like that, I have to always put it in perspective of those terms. She's so good still, and she's not currently on a roster. So there are so many conversations. People are saying there should be a G League for the W. They need to add, a couple more teams. It's the WNBA kind of put out a statement, that they will add a few more teams in a few years, just to kind of give a blanket statement. No promises. But I I think we just add a couple roster spots and keep them as practice players. Like, allow them to develop on a team, throw them some money, because the option, if you get waived, you're just like, in my mind, they're just floating in the WNBA abyss until another team needs them. But there's no other seasons are happening right now. They can't go play anywhere else.
Well, let's talk about the fun of basketball. I know you have such a bubbly personality, and we're like opening up the questions with just like, again, foreign affairs and respecting women. Like the WNBA, the league kicked off last season.
Yeah.
So, last week. What are some first impressions? Who are you excited about? Just let's talk basketball a little bit here.
Yeah, that's the fun part. Well, Jamel, your Mystics are looking good. They're looking good.
Come on. Where'd you have them in the preseason? Don't lie.
I had question marks around if Alicia Clark would be healthy, but now she's back.
She's still
so
not.
Soon. She's
not. She's still not. That's a work in progress.
But they are doing like a Kawhi load management with Elena Delle Donne, which makes me very happy. Yeah. So by the playoffs, she'll be looking good. She looks good while she's out there now, but yeah.
That's true. And I'm glad to see she's not traveling. I mean, come on, man. They're making them fly Spirit Airlines. Ain't nobody, don't do it. You know what I mean? Because every year, Elena has an MVP caliber year, but by the time they get to the finals, she is broken into several pieces. Face mask, double knee brace, got the big airbags like Steph on the ankles. It'd be crazy.
Yes.
I think Dallas looks good. I think my league pass alert, the Dallas Wings, folks. They have the best player in the league. Arike Ogunbowale is the best women's basketball player, period. Maya Moore 2.0. She goes nuts. She put us in the dirt in DC, which is hard to do, very hard to win at ESA. I saw her hit, 4 straight threes?
Yeah.
She's crazy.
She's a dog. Like, she's one of my favorite players. I will shout from the rooftops of watching Arike Ogunbowale. She's so good, and now she has help. Like, she's been good for this whole time. She's been like the league scoring leader, but now she has some players that can help her, so they're actually gonna win. That's like even scarier. They got it to the first round, single elimination last year. Now there's no more single eliminations, which is big news for the W. So I think they're going to make a deep run in the playoffs. If she keeps playing like this, you can't stop her. You cannot stop her.
I want to tell you about Underdog Fantasy's Pick'em game. It's the easiest and most fun way to spice up your NBA season that doesn't include candle wax dripping on your bare skin. Just pick over under on your favorite or least favorite player stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. What other kind of deal allows you to 20x your cash in a single night that won't land you in prison? Underdog keeps it incredibly simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile app. Pick between 2 and 5 players. You can take home some cold hard cash. Use code ALLCAPS and get your first deposit double by Underdog. Sign up and play today. Woof, woof.
Every team has a player with COVID because they have to fly a commercial, and they also have a player who's stuck in Europe because the Europe finals are happening at the beginning of the season. They don't even have their starting center yet, and Dallas looks like a top 4 team right now.
That's the hardest part, because this is like, you can't really take these teams in the first week as they are, because they are all missing players. Like you said, a lot of contracts are either partially suspended or fully suspended because they are still coming from, again, their bag in the EuroLeague. They're coming from that to do their side hustle, which is the WNBA.
Crazy.
So that they have to make those priorities. But it's going to be very interesting next year with the CBA. They're going to basically fine them if they come late to training camp, or suspend them. There's going to be some type of penalty for coming late. The W is like, hey, we want to be your priority. We're not going to give you more money, but we want to be your priority. So we're going to fine you if you come late. And that's going to be so interesting. I'm very curious how that's going to play out. Players are going to have a choice. Like, do I stay for my full season overseas, or do I come and start the year with my WNBA team? That's going to be for that.
Two things. If I had to go to Turkey to do stand-up comedy and get paid, I would be an accountant right now. I would have paid attention in high school. I would have did all my worksheets on time. None of this would be taking place. Two things. I think the Europe game is about to suffer because of the war in Ukraine. If there was no war and the W tried to enforce these penalties, the W would suffer. But I think there's some real fear in living overseas. And plus, when you put the money on it, I think a lot of these European teams are about to suffer.
That's a fair point.
One thing, did you guys see that moment with Sue Bird and Taurasi kind of trash talking, getting into it?
Amazing.
I mean, obviously from this summer too, in the tournament, the women's college tournament, I need those two, whether it's a Manning cast or we need to see, those are the moments that I think transcend just, WNBA, women's sports. It's like all sports. They're going viral on Twitter and whatnot. We need to set up more opportunities like that and aspects of entertainment that those two, because they're like, oh, people are like, don't watch WNBA because there's no stars. There are two legitimate stars there, and they need to give them the platform. So what would you like to see, either the league itself or even like these channels like ESPN, Bleacher Reports? How do we continue to push and give those platforms to the personalities like Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi?
Yeah, when people say there's no stars, it's every team is a super team. We just named off of like all-stars, all number one picks. They're all on one team. They're all stars. And all stars, they're all stars. Okay. That Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird are, not only are they best friends, they make great content. My favorite thing from that broadcast was Bill Walton being like, I can't believe you guys aren't in the Hall of Fame yet. And they're like, we're still playing, Bill. We are still currently in the WNBA. We've been playing forever. So I think also like Sue Bird has kind of said that she's retiring. She's kind of doing a Tom Brady where she's like, did I say this is my last year? Diana Taurasi's like, I'm playing 10 more years. Don't count me out. I'm always going to play. I think if Sue Bird does retire, I believe, is going to be a champion for this league. She's going to be on broadcast. She's going to be everywhere. People love to hear her talk about basketball. Not only is she a point god on the court, but she's so good with, breaking down film, breaking down plays, talking about player development. She's been in the league for 20 years. Like, she knows everything. So I want to see more of that. I also want to see, which is my mission, showing off those personalities throughout the league. Like, we have an episode coming up with Brittney Sykes on the Sparks. Maybe not a superstar that if you're not really in tune, that you would know, but she's hilarious and she would have been a professional bowler. Like, all of these personality traits that make the NBA so popular, you latch on to Ant because you're like, okay, he has a flip phone. He named his dog after himself. Like, all of these things that we know because it's constantly pushed in our face. I want that for the W because the women, they're hilarious. They have personalities. They are more than just basketball players. And that's what I think is going to bring more fans. Because even if you're not, a Sparks fan, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I love bowling too. Just like Brittney Sykes. I want to watch her play. And that's how we have to get more fans and more people invested, to me.
You know what it is? I think it's the TV deals, and it's where it is. Like, we need an inside stuff. When we grew up, the 90s, we found out about how NBA players live because of inside stuff. I don't think the W has that. I think TNT. I think we need TNT to get involved. I think it's time for an inside the W. I don't think we got the two spots. You got Sue and Diana. So that's like Charles and Shaq.
Yep.
But you still got to figure out them last two seats.
I would love to
there
volunteer
should be an
as
inside
Ernie. Please.
Yeah.
Please,
I'd vote
Jordan,
for that. Yes.
You'd be an amazing Ernie. Can you wear a bow tie?
I love bow ties. I used to make them in high school. That's a very, very horrible fun fact about me that I was looking for.
Who would you say, Jordan, right now, like in the way, I love how you talked about, because yeah, I mean, that's the whole mission with Follow Through, not to like plug, but we've all been involved with it.
Follow through dot studio. Follow through dot studio.
Jamel's always the hype man. But it's like, you know, there's players who watch them play, but these are human beings who have incredible stories off the court. Yeah. So to people who are in love with the NBA and who we need to tell that the WNBA offers these same type of stories, if not better sometimes, who would be like the J.R. Smith in the WNBA?
Courtney Williams, easy. It's done.
Yes!
I already have it.
It is Courtney Williams. Oh,
over.
That's
Courtney
so
Williams is
good.
incredible.
Well, tell me why.
Because Courtney Williams is a little goon.
She is.
She's crazy. She's an elite scorer.
Yeah.
She's amazing. She's country as hell. Last summer, her and her girlfriend threw a girls only pool party, and there was a photo of her in lobster flip flops holding a liter of Crown Royal apple.
A leader.
A big handle.
You could
of Crown
definitely
Royal.
see JR doing that. She would also totally go back to school for a sport. It would probably be like tennis or something.
Yeah.
Full ride. Like that.
For pickleball.
I can, yes. And she also is like the Ja Morant connection too throughout the playoffs, because her dad, when the Connecticut Suns were making that playoff run, I went to that game. I went to that Sparks game. He was front row. Ja's dad was more cool though, but Courtney's dad had her jersey on.
No chill whatsoever.
Sign. He was
going
leading
nuts.
chants. Like, he was at every single game, and I loved that storyline. Her dad's support. That's a little bit of the Ja, but yeah, Courtney Williams is the comp to NBA's JR.
Did you see what she said about the Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover?
Yes, I agreed with her. So the Sports Illustrated cover had some WNBA players on it, rocking bikinis. It was great. It was wonderful. But she said, you know, that's not what sexy means for women, for all women. So why not have women in board shorts and a t-shirt and something that maybe she would wear?
How about something for the studs? I want to see somebody in a beater. It was incredible.
All right, guys. Well, watch the W. Watch Jordan Ligons, host of Jumpman Brands, Take It From LA.
Come
on. Spinsters. And guys, watch Buckets. Jordan, thanks so much for joining us and joining Takeline. I want to give you give us one more reason why we should check out Buckets on Wave and how we can check it out.
Yes, well, subscribe to Buckets on YouTube. It's called The Buckets 5. We're going to talk about, my top 5 things every week. And we're going to do some retros. We're going to talk about the rookies. We're going to talk about everything about the W. It is really a fantastic league. What I always say, hoop is hoop. Real hoopers will watch the W because the basketball is very, very good.
Say it loud.
And, louder for the people in the back.
God
hoop
damn.
Is hoop. I do agree with what you said, Jamel, it is kind of difficult to figure out where the games are, but just push through it. Get on W Twitter. We will tell you. We're all holding hands and helping each other. But yeah, the W is great. It's so important, and make sure to watch.
Dope. Thank you so much, Jordan.
Thank you.